Thank you very much, Administrator. Thanks for being here today. And also thanks for your service in the Colorado National Guard. I appreciate that. I also appreciate your willingness to tell us, and you've been in several committee hearings, to talk about how you let that employee go who weaponized the federal government. The federal government has been weaponized against the American people. This is case in point. I think you did your job, and I think you did it well. You terminated that employee who weaponized the federal government as quickly as you can. And I think we need to do more of that. With that being said, your mission statement is helping people before, during, and after disasters. When you were in the Colorado National Guard, did you have annual reviews?
Did I have a what?
Annual reviews?
I was a traditional Guard member. I wouldn't have had it.
But you'd still have annual reviews, okay. Outstanding, meets standards, and does not meet standards, would that be fair enough?
As I recall.
Okay, so if you were in the Colorado National Guard and you were in charge of disasters in Colorado, and the tag said you're responsible, and there was a major disaster that the National Guard had to be brought out in Colorado, and it took 3 days for you to deploy, and 5 days to even get into some neighborhoods, would the tag say that's acceptable for you as the leader of the management team, emergency management team?
Congressman, FEMA was on the ground before the disaster happened.
So we had 2 members of Congress that represent 778,000 people stood here or sat here just within the hour and said there were people that didn't even get responded to for 3 days and some in a week. So that contradicts what you just said, okay? I'm asking you, if you were in Colorado, what would the tag do to you if you didn't respond for 3 days to the citizens of Colorado in a disaster?
Well, Congressman,
what would he be upset with you, or would she or he be upset with you?
Congressman, our teams were on the ground before the disaster happened.
With all due respect, I'm not asking that question. I'm not asking that question. I asked you, would the tag be disappointed in you if it took you 3 days to help the citizens of Colorado or some neighborhood?
I think the Adjutant General of Colorado would be impressed with the way FEMA responded to this disaster.
Ma'am, I'm trying to help you here. I understand you have a tough job. I want you to be able to tell the American people that we could have done better. And as a traditional guardsman, I totally respect your service. And I expect honesty, and you should expect honesty for my questioning. I asked you, would the tag be upset with you if you didn't send your people into a disaster in Colorado for 3 days, and sometimes some neighborhoods didn't get it for 5? Would the tag be upset with you?
Well, that information is inaccurate, and I would hope he would look for accurate information.
Ma'am, how would you score yourself in this response to Helene?
I think that there is always...
Would you score yourself outstanding? Would you score yourself outstanding, meets standards, or does not meet standards?
I am incredibly proud of the work that the 22,000 members of this workforce have done to support the American people across 6 states impacted by one of the most catastrophic events in recent years.
Administrator, we had 2 members of Congress that would challenge you on that statement. The American citizens needed you at the time. They needed you, and they're still needing you, for 3 days. I mean, we had a major disaster in Minnesota. We had a governor for 3 days that watched Minneapolis burn. That's unacceptable, simply unacceptable. And I would just hope that, as we go forward, I don't want to politicize this. I mean, there's enough. But your response, you're the leader, the buck stops with you. From the testimony I heard here from the representatives of the people, it was disappointing. Do you think you could have done better?
I encourage you, Congressman, to read my written testimony, which describes in detail how we were on the ground before the disaster happened. And I respect the testimony of the 2 panel members earlier.
Do you think you could have done better?
We can always improve, and we will review all of our response efforts.
Is that a yes?
Nobody is perfect, Congressman. We can always improve, and we strive to always improve on the way.
Do you think you could have done better, though? Yes?
We can always do better.
Okay. Listen, I want to thank you for your service. It's not easy, but when we come and ask you questions, we just expect, this is a dialogue. You represent us, the people. And if it happens in Minnesota, I would expect you to be there as quickly as I can. And I would say that, that from the statements of the two representatives, both a Democrat and Republican, you could have done much better in the response, and I yield back.